This is Theo with DB Services, and today we're going to take a look at custom views in Claris Studio. I'll also add that this video accompanies an article with it, so feel free to follow along as we go. So I guess we can start with talking about what custom views are. So in Claris Studio, you have different views you can pick from to sort of display your data and show to customers or users and deal with adding new data, managing it, viewing it. So an example one would be something simple like this. This is like a form view. So basically it's just going to have the fields for whatever your table is, and it can let you make them or view them or something, but it's kind of limited. So if we look here on the things we can add to it, it's basically only field types. So again, like if your object has a name or whatever, you can throw in the name field and then view it or change it. You can also do some static things like images, lines, whatever, just to kind of set it up and design it the way you want to. But it's overall kind of limited, and there are of course other view types like timeline, Kanban, spreadsheet view, stuff like that. So, but they're kind of more structured, so they're easier if you don't want to configure things as much. But if you do want to configure things, that's where we would use custom views. So to start off with, in custom views, we could see that we have a lot more objects to pick from. So we have the fields from form view and some other ones, but we also have there's probably the newest biggest thing is data controls. So a data control object lets you kind of put in like a whole table, like in all the records from it, and explore it in a specific way and go through and select an individual record to view more. So that would be an example would be a portal from FileMaker. If you're already familiar with that, would be if it were in Claris Studio, it would be probably under the data controls area. So an example here would be we've just created a list here, card list for our customers. So all of our customers would have their own scroll bar here, and you can go through and click them and do some more stuff with them. And in this example, we are using a spreadsheet. So our spreadsheet lets us, let's go ahead and preview this. We'll go and do desktop. So in our example here, if it loads, there it is. So we have the spreadsheet, and we can go through and view things and click on individual records, and it will populate things on the side here. These are fields that we've told to basically look at a specific row, and we're going to go into how we do that in just a minute. We can also filter and do things like that. But yeah, basically, so data control objects are new. Also new are summary objects. An example would be this chart over here. So you can do several different types of charts, and you can also just summarize individual points of data, like add up all of the, I don't know, sales in a table and get like a gross net sales. And you also have static things, so like form view to kind of stylize it if you want a banner at the top or something like that, and buttons, which we're also going to talk about. So let's talk about fields and how we sort of configure them to get data from our data control object. So for this example, this is a date field. So, and we've told it, oh yeah, I'll just say that this, the custom view as a whole, this one that we're going to be doing the example on, is designed around an example of reviews. So we're going to be storing our product data, the rating we got, the customer name, and some of their feedback. So in this case, we're looking at the date that the review was left on. So we've specified that it's from our table view, or from our review table, excuse me. We've specified that the date type is, or the field type is date. And for our record data, we are pulling from data control, and we're pulling from the object called spreadsheet2. And that is actually the name of our data control object here. You can change the name if you want. You may want a more descriptive one than this. Probably be easier to follow along with. But yeah, so it's pulling data from there. So that's why when we are on this screen and we click on individual rows in our table, it updates and populates with the correct data from that row. And we have similar things going on for like the rating field, customer name field, feedback. So all of them update as we go through. So it's very handy. Next, we'll talk about this chart here. So for this chart, we're doing a bubble chart, and that basically means we can track three axes maybe. Yeah, three different types of data. So we are tracking at the bottom here for each one of our product types. We are tracking on the y-axis here our average rating. So we can see that the B2B SaaS with agentic AI workflows has a high rating, whereas maybe the monitor doesn't. Um, and the size of the bubble relates to how many records are the like x-axis here applies to. So we have a lot of ratings for this item and maybe not as much for this one. And the way we've done that is in the configurations on the side here, right? We can select what type of chart we want. So in this case, we have bubble chart, but you have other ones like you could do a pie chart if your data would better suit that. Other things we're sourcing from the review table. Most of these are going to be from the review table just because that's what we're dealing with. But you could also pick other ones if you would like. That's the beauty of custom views, right? So yeah, specifying x-axis, y-axis. You can change how you summarize your things. Like for our y-axis, we're doing average because we want to know the average rating. But if you wanted to sum it or have, I don't know, min, max, there's different scenarios when you'd want to use each one, right? And you can set up your labels to be different or the same from the defaults. In our case, we just did product and average rating. Not too bad. Next, let's talk about these buttons. So the buttons are interesting because the buttons let you chain together multiple views. I guess I'll talk about this blue one first. So you could have them redirect to another view. You could have them open a new tab or go to a specific URL. In our case, we're doing a show subview. These are where you would select your option of what exactly you want it to do. You can also like have them do actual things with your data, such as adding a record, setting your value, updating, etc. But in our case, we're doing a subview, and a subview is like another it's sort of like a card window, if you know card windows from FileMaker, which we've set up over we're here, yeah. So in our case, we would create more subviews here. The one that we made for this additional data button is this one, just has more info, and it's just a few more charts. So in this case, it shows our sales. Wow, the B2B SaaS doing very well, and average rating per week. So, and again, these are just examples, but yeah, so, okay, and to go back to our normal view, we can do it here. And we've in this case, for the button, we're showing the subview in a modal, which means it's just going to pop up. Let's go over here on the screen, and we can close out of it and view it. But you could also just make it open in, I think, a new tab and do some other stuff with it. And the delete review button, this one is doing data, so we've set it to delete record as our action. And the way that we are telling it what record to delete is I think this one you can't just grab it straight from the data control object, so we're doing it with a calculation. And what's actually happening here, this if you see this text here, this is what's telling us to delete we're still deleting the record from the selected row in our spreadsheet, and I'll go ahead and briefly explain how that works. So we have reviews, that's talking about the name of our custom view. So we're saying on this page we're going to do something with the data here, and then we're saying, okay, the dot represents that we're going like, I guess, a level deeper. We're specifying something about the previous thing. So from the reviews page, take the spreadsheet to object, which is this one, right? And then take the current selected row, which would be whatever row we have selected and clicked on, and it's highlighted. And then we want the record ID, and that's what we're going to delete with. So if we go through and we see, okay, someone left a negative review of the B2B SaaS. He says it took over my computer and bought cloud compute to run itself on. Well, he's probably spreading, misinformation. I don't know how he got that in. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, we don't want his review for sure. So we're going to go ahead and delete it, and it goes away. And yeah, so that's pretty nifty. And again, it works with this calculation. Other things you can do, right? You can customize your button colors and this and that, and all of the objects can be dragged around and repositioned however you like, which is pretty nice. So you can really set up your data however it is you want to view it with custom views. Okay, I think that just about wraps up the explanation for today. If you want to implement custom views or anything else with Claris Studio or Claris FileMaker, you can contact us at DP Services and we'd be happy to help. Thank you for listening.